It's been a second since the I-80 crossover has come onto your TV screens or mobile devices or however the hell you check this program out. Both platforms Bleav in Kings, Golden Days, and man, are the blues being sung in Northern California, Mark. When we get this show started, the first question I'm going to ask you is the draft and how are you feeling about that? Because something tells me you're not happy. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing good, man. I'm hanging in there, man. I'm trying to keep morale up for these poor Sacramento King fans. But yeah, like you said, the blues is playing everywhere here in the 916.
Oh boy. Well, speaking of the blues, let's get into it. It's Bleav in Kings, it's Golden Days combined. We call it the I-80 crossover, and we're powered by Sunrun, new sponsor. Mark, I'll explain what that is in just a second for our channel. And we're powered, both shows, by FanDuel. Yeah, we're singing the blues here. I'm having fun with some of the production stuff here, just putting sad music and the blues all over the place. These aren't happy times if you're a basketball fan here in Northern California. We're powered by FanDuel, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Mark, let's start there because the postseason in general has been exhilarating. This is my favorite time of year for sports, largely because of the NBA postseason, even though neither of our teams are participating this year. And Mark, I'd love to get you and I haven't done a show in a bit here. I'm glad we're back together, brother. People can follow you, by the way, on all social media platforms at Mark Haynes NBA. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram, at Dogwild on Twitter, at Surf Journalist. Side note, I can no longer reply to people on Twitter. Mark, in case you haven't followed along, and it's not interesting. It's not a story anyone should give a shit about. But for what it's worth, I still have Twitter on my phone. I have not updated the Twitter app in, I think, 4 years, and I refuse to. And when the time comes where I just can't use it, period, anymore, I'm going to have a bit of a dilemma on my hands. But unfortunately, I'm at a point now where the app will not let me reply anymore. I can still post new things, and I think it's for the best. It actually keeps me from maybe, stirring shit up more than I should. Anyways, the program on both platforms, the Golden Days Pod. Mark, anything you want to promote on your side that I missed before we get started?
No, you got it. Just you can follow me at Mark Haynes NBA, like Cyrus said, or my YouTube channel is the Closer Sports on YouTube, where you'll find the Bleav in Kings Pod and other little things that we got going on. But no, man, the I-80 crossover is back.
Yes,
and we don't have much. We got to talk about hope. That's what we got to talk about for the summer. But we're back, man. We're back. Both squads have had some decisions to make. Y'all made a decision.
I know. You guys haven't made a decision, and I already like your decision better. And again, we never went anywhere. It was just a little hiatus, but we're back. I don't know if it was a mistake in hindsight to schedule our show on Tuesdays. In the offseason, it's perfect, but in the regular season, turns out they play games all the time on Tuesdays, and that got in the way for a lot of our shows. By the way, Mark, what are your thoughts on this take on Tuesdays, real quick?
Tuesday has no feel. Monday has a feel. Friday has a feel. Sunday has a feel.
But Tuesday is just kind of like I don't know what you call it. I don't know what it's about. What do you dislike more, Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday. I dislike Monday, or I used to dislike Mondays more. Tuesday, I had a job where I would get paid on Thursdays.
Oh,
so I tricked my mind into a whole schedule to get me through the week. It was like,
okay.
Monday sucks because it's Monday. You got to go back to work. Tuesday, I was like, well, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, I'll be able to see how much I'm gonna get paid on Thursday. I can look at my check. So that I'm like, Tuesday, I'm getting there. I'm one day away from seeing my check. Then on Wednesday, I'm like, I get it Thursday. Thursday I get it, I'm happy because I'm not broke anymore. And then Friday's Friday. I got a good week, but since I don't have that job anymore, that doesn't apply anymore. So like to Monday and Tuesday, they're both
just suck. Yeah, they just suck.
yeah.
And by the way, you know what sucks even more is if it's Tuesday and you're stuck in a backup on the I-80. My heart goes out to you folks out there dealing with that traffic. I hope a program like this makes that type of journey a little less torturous. But the I-80 is just a brutal freeway. For folks who don't live in Northern California and don't understand the context of the I-80, it is the freeway that connects Sacramento and San Francisco. The I-80 ends over the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. You take it the other direction, goes all the way across the country, and that includes the capital of California, Sacktown. Well, the postseason's going on even without our two teams. And side note, by the way, at the end of the show, Mark, I've been doing a bit lately because when your team starts crapping and shitting the bed on a consistent basis, you got to come up with gimmicks for your show. One of those gimmicks is revisiting the past, going into a time machine and figuring out what happened on this date in Golden State Warriors history. Tonight, we're also going to revisit on this date what happened in Sacramento Kings history. And I'm going to do the heavy lifting for you, Mark. If you haven't done it yet, I know you've been under the weather, and I sprung this segment on you. I did the research for you. Today's actually a very significant moment in Sacramento Kings history and Golden State Warriors history. We'll get to that later in the show. But let's start with FanDuel, who's providing us odds for 2 Game 6s in both the Eastern and Western Conference semifinals. We start in the East, where Game 6 or Game 5. Did I say Game 6s? I'm sorry, Game 5s. Well, it's going to be a Game 6 for San Antonio, Minnesota. Game 5. I'm just confusing people. I'm sorry. There's one Game 5. There's one Game 6. Game 5, Cleveland, Detroit. This game is in Detroit. Detroit's favored by 3.5 points. The Cavaliers' money line is plus 144. The OU on that, 212.5. Mark, what is your takeaway from that series where each home team has won every game? So it's tough to tell who really has an advantage. It's tough to tell if the ultimate difference in this series is going to be home court. What has been your takeaway on the Pistons and the Cavs? Let's start there.
Originally, even when we did our over and unders of records, I had Detroit coming out of the East.
We both did, yeah. We guaranteed that shit. We put a lock on that shit.
Yeah. I'm still there. But the other day, I did put my foot in my mouth, and I said that Cleveland wouldn't win another game in the series, and that's when Detroit should have been up 3-0. They should have been up 3-0. Cade played horrible down the stretch of game 3. And then game 4, Donovan Mitchell was just awesome. He was just amazing. There was no stopping them. I still got Detroit winning this. I still got them. But the fact that, like you said earlier, only the home teams are winning, I feel like this might go 7. I got Detroit tomorrow. And then going back to Cleveland, it's going to be hard, to knock them off, in Cleveland. So I think it'll be a hard-fought Game 6 when they get there. But I got Detroit closing it out at 7.
Two quick things I want to mention. One, Donovan Mitchell, a.k.a. Spida, tied an NBA postseason record that had been in place for 39 years.
Oh, wow. And it was 39 points, wasn't it?
What's up?
Wasn't it 39 points, too?
Yes. Well, yeah, it gets even better and better. This whole thing is fascinating because you're right. No, you're good, man. But so Spiders ties the record of most points in a half in the postseason. He drops 39 in the second half of that game that the Cavaliers hung on to win. And I think it was the game that tied the series 2 apiece. The record was in place for 39 years, as you just mentioned a moment ago, Mark. The still the current record holder, but now 2 people hold it. Sleepy Floyd of the Golden State Warriors, and so which is crazy. And what's even crazier is Sleepy's my boy. He's coming on the show Thursday. I could not have timed this better. And maybe the best part from Sleepy's perspective, if you're a Warriors fan and if you're an old geezer like I'm quickly turning into, Mark, we're getting old, brother. Because one of my earliest memories watching NBA basketball was Sleepy Floyd dropping 39 in the second half and 29 in the fourth quarter. That is still a record he holds by himself. The 39 is now tied. And here's a quick graphic, by the way, for you folks who like visuals. Forgive me for the podcast audience who will not get to see this. But this is the record we're talking about right here. Donovan Mitchell scored 39, tying the record that Sleepy Floyd held for 39 years. So, Donovan Mitchell, by the way, did you watch that game? And the fact that he came back in when Kenny Atkinson pulled out the starters thinking this game was a wrap, and then Detroit just goes on a flurry with like 15-20 seconds left. Kenny freaks out, brings all the starters back. Donovan Mitchell at this point was 1 point behind on the record, which I thought was over with. He goes to the free throw line, makes the first free throw, ties the record, misses the second. 39. That was the number. 39 years. What's up?
That was the pressure.
Maybe. I don't know if he was even aware of it, to be honest. But impressive that a postseason record like that stood for 39 years and still stands. The quarter record, by the way, still. The sole record holder is Eric Sleepy Floyd, who in 1987 staved off a Lakers sweep. Mark, you might appreciate this a few years back, and I think this is on our YouTube channel going all the way to the very first post we made. Rick Barry and I interviewed Michael Cooper of the LA Lakers. Legend. I'm pretty sure he's in the Hall of Fame. He's known as one of the greatest defenders in NBA history. And when I brought that up to him in an interview, I said, Michael, I know this was a long ass time ago, 35 years ago, approximately. It was something like that when I did the interview. But one of my fondest memories was Sleepy dropping those 39 second half points, 29 fourth quarter points on you guys, and it prevented the Lakers from sweeping. And Michael Cooper, we'd been interviewing him. This was about 20 minutes into the interview, and until that point, we were having a ball. Like laughs were going around. It was jovial. I brought that up, and I swear to God, man, Michael Cooper's face turned back into game mode, like he wanted to kill me. He took that shit very seriously. I mean, it was in jest, but it was a memory he's still not fond of at all, and he remembered it vividly. And he went on to explain that the mistake the Lakers made that game was they had their guard down. They thought the series was a wrap, and he also gave a lot of credit to Sleepy Floyd for that performance. It was unbelievable. It still sticks in my brain. I was a little kid when that game was on watching it. Sorry to talk so long, but Sleepy's going to join the show Thursday. I'm exulted by that. Anything you want to add? Sorry.
That's perfect time.
It is. Yeah, dude. Yes.
Like, wow. Yeah,
yes.
I'll definitely be looking and watching out for that. But that performance, man. And it was, what was interesting is like you didn't really see it coming at first.
No.
It was like out of nowhere. He just couldn't miss. And it didn't seem like he was forcing it, or anything. He just had it going. And, if he's playing like that, then my prediction of, Detroit getting past them in 7, we in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, dude, look, Mitchell plays like that again. I mean, they beat almost any team. I mean, it was an unbelievable performance. And by the way, Tracy McKindle in our chat, longtime Golden Dazer now, who revealed on a recent show in our chat that she was at that Sleepy Floyd game. Tracy, I'll reach out to you. I'll set it up. So if you want to jump on during that segment, I'll happily allow you to, because I know Sleepy would be flattered hearing that you were at Roracle. They weren't calling it Roracle back then. It was just the Oakland Arena, but I'm sure he will be flattered and excited to have you jump in. So Sleepy Floyd, no longer the sole record holder of that game. And here's the other thing I want to bring up with you, going back in general to Cavaliers Pistons before we move on from this topic. Mark, what the hell, in your opinion, is going on with Jalen Duren? This is a guy who in the regular season, and again, maybe it was a regular season thing, because the regular season does fool people easily, largely because it's just a totally different game between the regular season and the postseason. We're in the real season now. Jalen Duren dominated that shit. He's likely going to be a second-team All-NBA selection for the year he had, and this postseason has just been night and day in terms of a script flipped on him. He does not look like an all-NBA player. He doesn't even look like an elite center. What is going on there from your perspective?
Yeah, he looks about 3 steps too slow the entire game. Like in the playoffs, everything picks up. Everything's faster. So it looks like he's having a problem with that. And like I'm surprised by it because I thought we would get the same type of Jalen Duren. Although, this Cleveland team with having Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, I knew it'd be a tough matchup for him or whatever, but not even just him. Stewart and like Paul
Reed.
Paul Reed, he had a good game. He was the best big. He's been like the best big in this series or whatever on Detroit's end. But in order for Detroit to get past these dudes, Jalen Duren has to be better. He has to figure out a way to be impactful. Like he's just out there. He's out there getting his conditioning in, and it looks like he's jogging. He's moving at half speed. I don't know if this is not the same guy we've seen all season long.
At all.
All season long, he's looked like he's going to be the next, big thing, next dominant center. But right now, he seemed lost in the sauce. Like but if anything is going to get you up for, and I don't even sound right. Get you up for a playoff game. Every game you should be up. So I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe there's some injuries that we don't know about because he looks slower. And that's the only thing I know he hasn't said anything. And he's a, big tough guy. The only thing I could think of is maybe he has some type of injury that we don't know about because this is not the same guy.
At all. In the regular season, Jalen Duren averaged 19.5 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, shot 65% from the field. In the Orlando series, he averaged 10.6 points per game and 9.4 rebounds. Not impressive. It gets worse in the Cleveland series. He's averaging just 9.5 points per game and just 7 rebounds per game. Yeah. Now, the one additional variable I think is vitally important to mention here when it comes to Jalen Duren. He's only 22 years old. So, like if I'm a Detroit fan or if I'm just a fan of basketball in general and I see him as an important just piece for the future, I'm not hitting panic buttons yet because I've seen a lot of young kids just not impress in initial appearances in the postseason. It is a lot. Sometimes the experiencing that for your first time, the difference in intensity, the fact that it's so much more matchup based, like you're not getting games against Brooklyn Nets or, other hapless squads like the Charlotte Hornets before they started becoming good last year. So it could be that, but again, he's only 22 years old. He doesn't turn 23 until November. Very young kid. Anything you want to add for that series?
Detroit is 7, man. Cade Cunningham, I think Cade steps up. I think Cade takes that Donovan Mitchell game personally. And I think we see a better team in Detroit, but it all starts with Jalen Duren. He has to get closer to, around the 16 to 18 points a game over these next 2 games if Detroit is going to move on, because Cleveland, they're not going to make it easy. They're not going to make it easy on them. They're trying to get to that conference finals. This will be what? If they get there, this will be the first one since LeBron's been gone.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they want it. James Harden wants it. Donovan Mitchell. This is a very hungry team, and like you said, the one thing that goes against Detroit, I think Detroit is the better team, but they're still very, very young. So.
Absolutely. And very inexperienced. It's just shocking to me that Jalen Duren's presence is not felt at all in either series. Like if you swapped his jersey with Paul Reed's, I would not be able to tell the difference probably unless I looked at their faces. Like it's a minimal impact. It's shocking. It's just really shocking to me, but I try to remind myself how young he is. And then game 6 must win for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's in Minnesota. And Minnesota is our they're home underdogs in that one. So better beware there. San Antonio favored in Game 6. This line also courtesy of FanDuel, -4.5. Minnesota, the money line, if you want to bet on them to win outright, +168. The over-under on that, 218.5. Mark, in your opinion, does San Antonio close the series so we finally see the matchup we've all been waiting for, OKC versus San Antonio? Or do you think Minnesota pushes this to a Game 7?
Look, I love me some Ant Edwards. I love me some Jay McDaniels, assistant coach Chris Haynes over there. I got love for Minnesota, but this series is over. It's done. Game 6, unless Victor Wembanyama is hurt or ejected again. Like if I'm Minnesota, I'm throwing the kitchen sink at Wemby. We got to get under his skin. Somebody needs to foul out, use all those bodies, but it is over. It's going to be one Frenchman going to the conference final, and that's not going to be Rudy.
Help provided. It is crazy that arguably for the next 10 plus years, OKC and San Antonio are it.
Yep.
10 years they're set up for, maybe even more than that. I mean, also maybe less. Who the hell knows? But it's wild, man. Congrats to those two teams, because our teams are like the antithesis, the complete opposite of the fortune that they're enjoying. Our teams are just uninspiring, like just depressing. You want to sing the blues. We'll talk about that. There's a lot to discuss. I see a paid chat I'm going to get to in just a second here. Mark, I'm really fascinated to know about what your Kings are going to do. Supposedly Acuff Jr. is high on their priority list. You can elaborate on that and explain why, and also why so many people believe that. Is that even a substantiated report, or is that just speculation because it just looks and feels right? Who the hell knows? We'll find out. Maybe Mark knows exactly what's going on. But first, and we'll talk about the theme of this show on the Warriors side. I see a few people in the chat, Julian Bashir included, saying, I don't quite understand the title size. There have been a report about the Warriors front office down on pods. Sort of. I'll explain what I mean. Yes, there is a report, and it does mention Brandon Podziemski, and it references the prospective other NBA teams, and maybe more importantly, the scouts, how they feel about Podziemski. And it's a friendly reminder. We know what we're talking about here. And sadly, I don't think Steve Kerr and company know what they're doing at this point. I could be wrong on that, but it's going to make sense when I reveal what I'm talking about in regards to how other teams feel about Brandon Podziemski. But first and foremost, Mark, I got to give some love to a new sponsor of Golden Days, and that's Sunrun. And that QR code right there is where the link goes if you want to sign up for solar for your house. It's a very simple premise. You partner with us by going to that link. It's also in our YouTube description. If you have a house that does not have solar on it, and you have the power, the authority to place solar on your home, what the hell are you waiting for? No upfront money. Like this is basically a chance for you to not only spend anything, but see your costs go down and get a free gift from our shop. Mark, you live in Sacramento, where it's hot as shit, especially in the summer. And something tells me this is going to be a hotter than usual summer. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it's just I hear too many people telling me that. I'm going, shit, here we go. It's going to be a hot one. Air conditioning ain't cheap. If you live in a place where it gets hot in the summer, those bills add up. Eliminate those bills. Visit Sunrun. The link again is right there. It's also in our YouTube description page. No upfront cost. Sign up with the company that already has powered over 42% of all homes in the U.S. That is easily the largest number. They'll even fix your roof if it's dilapidated. They will set you up. Again, no money from you. So you're just winning in this deal. You're literally getting maybe a new roof. Maybe you're going to get those beautiful solar panels on your home that'll boost your home value, lower your utility bills, have a locked in rate. So 6 months from now, a year from now, when all the utility companies like PG&E suddenly go, oh, with these data centers, they're taking up too much energy. We got to raise your rates. You don't have to worry about that with Sunrun. Again, click that link, the QR code right there, or visit the link in our YouTube and podcast descriptions. Anything you want to add on solar, Mark? Any experience with it? If you
I
have no
haven't
thoughts, you
had
don't have to
any
either.
any experience yet. Yeah, but when I get a home, I will be calling and clicking on that QR
Oh,
code.
yeah, exactly. Thank you, brother. We're going to talk now Warriors and Kings in great detail. And again, the lottery was not favorable for either of our teams. Safe to say your team actually got hurt because they dropped. How many places did they drop in the draft? And describe your feelings as you know, a representative of King. I don't know, what do they call them? Kings Nation. I don't know what the fan base is called. Cowbell Nation, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Speak for them, man. Like describe the pain of seeing that pick drop, because you had some damn good odds to get a top 4 pick, and I feel like your team and the Nets were the losers on draft day. What's your take from that?
No, absolutely. I think for a lot of people, I think it was, expected, and so like the hope was there, and but that's what Sacramento has been, for the last, over 2 decades or whatever. Like there's always hope here in Sacramento, but in the back of everybody's mind, it's like it's no way this is going to actually happen. Even though, like you said, the odds were in the Kings' favor. Like to drop, to the 7th pick, which is, not necessarily a bad thing if you're, a regular organization, but when you're a team that's been at the bottom of the barrel for so long, you're hoping and hoping the basketball guys, bless you with, this one thing, because they haven't had anything like this since, obviously Keegan Murray. You got Keegan Murray at 4. That was a guy they wanted. But this was the thing. This draft class with all these big names, like you mentioned, Darius Acuff Jr. Has been a guy that, interestingly, the Kings have been very big on, according to reports, they've been big on this
Acuff.
kid. And
Are the
even when they
reports
were,
legitimate, Mark?
I would say yes. I
Okay.
would say yes. I think Scott Perry likes Acuff. I haven't asked him personally or anything like that, but from the people I've talked about, this is a serious thing, but that's why everybody's talking about it. But the thing that if the problem I have with it, I actually have 2 problems or whatever. And when I'm looking at the league and how it's built right now, and the teams that are having success, like you think about the teams in the West we mentioned earlier, the Spurs and the Thunder. They're big teams. They're big guards, big wings, big centers. So I'm a guy. I'm a fan of bigger players. I like the bigger point guard. The bigger the point guard, the better to me.
Especially in today's game. Now more than ever, I think.
Especially in today's game.
Yeah.
Like I just told my boy I loved Allen Iverson. But if Allen Iverson came right now, this is gonna sound crazy, but if Allen Iverson came right now, I'm likely to take the 6'5", 6'6" point guard.
Unless AI developed his 3-point shot, because you're right. At that, when he played, I don't think he was known for that necessarily.
Right.
I haven't looked up his 3-point shooting percentages to know offhand if he was actually elite at that skill set or not. But if he was an elite 3-point shooter, I could still see him absolutely having value. But you're right. When he played, that is not what he was known for. So I'm with you. I totally feel you.
So I'm always, I'm looking at the bigger guards. Like I like the Keaton Wagler kid. I
love him.
I like Michael Brown Jr. from Louisville, who's I'm told, which is interesting. I'm told that he's actually Keegan Murray's cousin. I don't know if they met, but they found out like a year and a half ago
So they're like
that
second or third cousins, like distant cousins, but
I actually think they're first cousins. So
interesting.
that's gonna be interesting.
That is
I think
interesting.
but I think they're first cousins. I've been waiting. I've been looking at interviews to see when it's gonna come out or whatever. But I know they are related, and they just found out probably about a year and a half ago.
I like that.
But I like him. I like the Kingston Flemings guy or whatever. And all of these names that I'm naming, they're all bigger than Darius A. Cuff Jr.
Correct.
Now, are they better than him right now? I don't know. I honestly I haven't seen enough of A Cuff during I seen what 1.5 games during the tournament or whatnot. So I caught on to him late. So I could be completely wrong. And I'm sure Kings fans would love, and I'm not even, I wouldn't say that they're better players. I just want bigger players. So you look at the guys that the Kings drafted over the year at point guard, Devin Carter, small, 6'1", 6'2", whatever you want to call him, point guard. They can't give him, solid minutes. He can't get into the rotation.
I do like the new dude though. I think he just got back from Turkey.
Yeah. I'm excited about that too. New tech, new me. We're gonna see what we get. We're gonna see what we get out of Devin Carter.
Looks good.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. but him and before him, it was Davion Mitchell. Another small point guard that they took in the first round. So if I'm the GM, I don't know if I risk going after another small point guard that doesn't work out. Unless I absolutely believe A. Cuff Jr. is Stephon Marbury, Allen Iverson. He's going to be that. He's going to be up for Rookie of the Year this season. That's the only way I'm going after him.
I was listening to a show, I think it was earlier today, just trying to learn more about the draft and some of these players. And the guys talking were discussing whether the Kings would actually trade up to get A Cuff, which I think is kind of crazy. And based off what you're saying, I sure as shit would not trade up to get A Cuff. This draft is so deep.
Yes.
Like if he falls to you, fine. I feel like you kind of have to take him if he falls to you. Exactly. But if he doesn't, that means you're going to have either Wagler or Flemings or a Mikael Brown available. And that's such an awesome selection to choose from, I think.
Yeah. No, so I'm not like this position at the 7th pick, I've been saying all season, if you get top 4, top 5, there is no missing. You can't miss. It's impossible to miss. But 6, 7, 8 and on, you can make a bad decision. That could really backfire. Trading up, which means you're giving up the 7th pick plus, whatever player you're throwing in there or whatnot. But you're trading up, you're getting rid of something for this point guard who you obviously, he has to be the guy. He has to be in the conversation of Rookie of the Year this season. That's the type of player you trade up for. You don't trade up for a guy that you're developing.
And which is all the more reason why I keep thinking damn, did the Kings just get screwed? Because they should have at the bare minimum get the 5th pick, correct? They finished with the 5th worst record, and even that they got screwed because they lost a coin flip with Brooklyn, I think. And I don't know if that affected the ping pong ball numbers or what the relevance was there. Besides, just in case of a tiebreaker, Brooklyn wins it. But yeah, so the Kings should have gotten the 5th pick at the worst. Instead, they get leapfrogged and fall to 7. And on the same note, I feel like the only team that got screwed over worse. I said a moment ago earlier in the show that I feel like the Kings and Brooklyn were the two teams that kind of suffered, but I forgot to mention Indiana, who to me, from the Pacers perspective, this was worst case scenario. You now traded the number 5 pick in the draft for Zubac. And look, Zubac is a fine center. No way in hell is he worth the number 5 pick in this year's draft. And the LA Clippers, on the flip side of that, talk about winning that trade and then some. They're now going to likely end up with Keaton Wagler, who's going to be, I think, a star in this game. It's insane. It's insane. And then meanwhile, your team is now 7th, and then goddamn the Warriors. I mean, are any final thoughts on the Kings real quick before we shift gears for a second here and talk Warriors, because I really want to get your thoughts on a few things. But what have we missed about the Kings? Anything else? I want to, and maybe this question will add something else too to jar your memory, or just to elicit another topic to bring up real fast. Are you disappointed that Doug Christie's back? Because if I was a Kings fan, I would be devastated by that news. Because Doug Christie to me just represents an extension of Vivek. Like, he still has that job to me because he's Vivek's guy and he's going to do whatever the front office says and does. Like, I'm results oriented. Like, meritocracy requires you to show that you can win. Doug Christie's never shown that as a coach, and he's back. Am I going overboard in the Doug Christie criticism? What is your take on Christie being back as head coach?
No, I understand it. And I don't. So what I do think is, I think this season the clock is going to be ticking.
Okay.
And I don't think it's going to be ticking for necessarily like, oh, they have to get into the playoffs or something like that. But they can't have another season where they win 22 games. But I do think the one thing that saved Doug and earned him another year is the job he did with his young guys, with rookie Nick Clifford, Maxime Reynaud, and Dylan Cardwell. Those 3 guys from the beginning of the year to the end was night and day. So he showed, and I give him the credit to this, and obviously it could have been, Bobby Jackson or whoever. But he showed that he's able to develop, young talent. Now, when you go into this draft, you're getting a top pick. And I think that's the most important thing, is figuring out, how do I get my young guys in a situation, good enough to where they're able to compete at the highest level. I don't think it's about DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Sabonis and those guys. They're just kind of, although they're the stars of the team or the big names, it's about these young guys. Doug Christie showed he did a hell of a job with the young guys.
Well, that's good to know, because you need to actually be covering this team to know that. From an outsider's perspective, there's no chance in hell like we're seeing, so Doug Christie's actually working on these youngsters and giving them minutes, and that's good to know. So we'll see what happens there.
It was like in the media booth, like throughout the maybe the first quarter of the season, media members were saying like the rookies were just unplayable, like they're not good. It was comments saying Nick Clifford, he's not an NBA player. Maxime Reynaud is not. Dylan Cardwell shouldn't even be on the floor. Dylan Cardwell ended up leading, or was second in the league in blocks for all rookies or whatever. He became a big energy guy for the team. Maxime Reynaud, I think he put together the most double-doubles out of all rookies and ended up being the starter or whatever, and just shot, close to 60%, whatever it was. But and Nick Clifford, his all around game just started to show. He was able to. I think he led the league in the second half of the season in steals or whatever. But they all became very, very productive. When at the beginning of the year, they all looked lost. Like all of them looked lost at the beginning. So
Reynaud, I think leaves a lot to be desired defensively, and maybe that's something he will develop as well. But offensively, there were games where he looked clean, man. Like his game looked very smooth, and that's definitely something to look forward to. Do you have 15 more minutes in you?
I think I do. I hear the girls giving mom a hard time. But yeah, let's go for it.
Just because there's so much left, but I know you're also you're under the weather. You've got a 3 kids. You've got a beautiful family that every time we do this, you're taken away from. Forgive me. Tell them I thank them tremendously, your wife especially, because you're giving me and this program that time and the audience and not them. So please tell them thank you. We appreciate it. Not taking it for granted for a second. But we got to talk Warriors here real fast. I hate Ewoks dropping a $4.99 donation, saying that I was not angry enough in the last episode about Steve Kerr. I think you want Steve Kerr and Ty Jerome back. I hate Ewoks following up on that donation, saying, I seriously feel like no matter what the Warriors do this offseason, there's nothing we can do to return to glory. It's going to be another 10-plus year reset. Agreed on that. Going back, well, I don't know if 10 years, that's a long-ass time, but I do think that this basically just sets the Warriors back 2 years. As long as they're going to continue making this all about Stephen Curry, they're not going to be making this about the team actually getting better. And I hate Ewoks. The only reason why I have not been more fired up is I'm defeated, man. I mean, there's only so much anybody can do in this world, and it's one thing to be passionate and excited about the hope of this guy who has all this power and is abusing this power. And abuse maybe is a strong word, but certainly just misappropriating it with very poor personnel decisions. Primarily, that's my main gripe. I mean, look, Mark, you saw Kuminga in that series against the Knicks. He almost single-handedly won 2 games for him. The Knicks, side note, look how they played against Philly after that, and the Warriors just gave him up for nothing because of Steve Kerr. So forgive me if that's going to forever, leave a little begrudging, feeling in my gut because of that. Speaking of guts and Steve Kerr, but dude, I'm defeated, man. Like, what can anyone do? Like, the owner of the Warriors just basically admitted to all of us that as long as Steph is here, Kerr is here, and there's nothing any of us can do. So I'm at a point where it's just like, we lost. And when I say we lost, I mean, like, anybody who I feel like has some common sense and rhyme and reason and wanted the Warriors to kind of shift gears and start a rebuild or at least start to move forward with the next chapter. We're just in this purgatory now. We're just stuck because a team that won 37 games last year is not going to improve by much, if at all. And their best players are going to be 39, 37 with the torn ACL. Al Horford's turning 40. If GP2 comes back, he turns 34. If Seth comes back, he's 36. That's half your team. That's half your team right there almost. And they're old as dirt. I think it's safe to say they're going to be the oldest team in the NBA this year. It's what can anyone do? This is where ownership can absolutely screw over a fan base when they make decisions that just make no sense, and you just have to live with it. And Mark, I know you understand how that feels in Sacramento. I'm guessing most sports fan bases understand how that feels. And now the Warriors, unfortunately, were in that situation as a fan base because, again, the owner loves Kerr and probably is eternally grateful for him for the 4 championships, even though I will argue till the end of time that Kerr had a minimal role in this dynasty. Yeah, look, give him 2015, fine. But to me, giving him credit for those KD Steph teams, that's 2 championships. What the hell did he do to win those? And anyways, we're just stuck. So all we can do is just, make the best of it, analyze this train wreck that's going to come. Because, Mark, I don't know about you, but the Warriors won 37 games last year, and I think it is an absolute pipe dream to expect an improvement. I also think it's a pipe dream to expect old people to magically get healthier. It doesn't happen. What are your thoughts on just the Steve Kerr situation, Mark? Because this is the first we're hearing from you regarding the 2-year extension he recently signed.
Yeah, no, like I agree with you on the, like, when you talk about the old and the age thing, and I think that's throughout the entire league. Like, we look at Kevin Durant in Houston and what the meltdown that they had over there. When we look at, the superstars of the league, the superstars, and I don't know if there's ever been another time in NBA history where it's been like this, but the superstars of the NBA aren't the best players. The best players are just stars. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is,
you're right.
I still don't consider him a superstar. LeBron James is a superstar. Steph Curry is a superstar. Kevin Durant, even Draymond Green's name or whatever, like that. The older players' names carry so much weight, and it kind of fogs up the reality. Like you could sell, you're always going to be able to sell tickets with, any of those guys on your team. But the reality is, this is a young man's league. I think Charles Barkley was just saying that, to Draymond, before Draymond called him fat in Houston. But it was hilarious. But
it was hilarious. It was.
It's really a different league. It's a young man's league, and these young guys, they're like when you look at, when you're looking at LeBron play against OKC this series, while they're getting swept, LeBron still put up solid numbers. I think he averaged 24, 7-7 or whatever. Still productive, but it's meaningless when you have, AJ Mitchell coming out of nowhere, and this guy and that guy, and Shea is like, these young guys are just better. But the superstars are still the old players. They're the ones you're going to see their name everywhere, their face everywhere, commercials and shoes and all that. But it's like you're slowly drowning with these guys at the top. If your team,
I love it. I agree with all of that. No, you're 100% right. I feel like we're just in a world in general where results are becoming secondary to comfort. Whether it's business, whether like name the setting, and generally speaking, I feel like leadership in any institution we're talking about, if they have a choice right now, do you want to make more? Do you want to win more? Or do you want to be happy with the people around you so you have less stress in your life? They're going to go with option B. And that's really crazy. That is not the world I grew up in. I don't know when this shift happened, but I grew up with like lessons ingrained in me of people who work hardest should be rewarded. The best leaders in the world hire people smarter than them. And it's just, dude, like, it's like the nepotism, the who you know culture. Like, that's just winning out left and right. It's a sad state of affairs, in my opinion. And that extends to basketball, like you said, because LeBron, who may retire, still one of the biggest stars. Stephen Curry played less than half of the season last year, led the league in jersey sales, however, which is kind of crazy. And I don't know what the finances are in terms of jersey sales correlating with the overall team finances, but I'm sure it helps. But yeah, this is the world we're in, man. It is wild. You're right. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not one of the biggest stars in the NBA, but it's safe to say he's the best player.
Yeah, you can easily argue that, and you can't say that any of the superstars are better than him, because same with Victor Wembanyama, and the list goes on. Joker, I don't consider Joker a superstar, but right now, like I feel like I always was saying, LeBron, Steph, and KD are the only true superstars that I still, if I can. If I can create a team around them, I will. But now that number drops to 2. It's LeBron and Steph. And, y'all in the Warriors, they're sticking with that, and I don't blame them. But obviously, like you said earlier, you felt like they could have made, different moves, different scenarios to even help Steph. But they're fully invested on this. We're gonna ride it out with Steph at the helm, and we go roll with it. I can't knock them. Only 2 players I would do that with is Steph and Bron.
Yeah, and look, I'm with you. Steve Kerr is one thing. To me. Right. Bending over for a coach, it's just the fact that it's a coach. That like that is such a replaceable job, man. Like, most people with a good acumen and some basketball insight, just a background of basketball, can do that job. And for the most part, as long as they're competent, it's going to be fine. The talent of a player, irreplaceable. Yeah. That's what's special. That's why we pay money to see this game and invest ourselves in. The coach thing, I will never understand. Even the greatest, like a Phil Jackson, even, man, he was shown the door in every place he was in. Greatest coach ever. A couple other paid chats as we wrap it up here. The speaker says, dropping $4.99. Thank you, folks, for these paid donations. Do appreciate it tremendously. Saying no pick at number 5 helps the Pacers more next year than Zoo. Then what I'm guessing what you're trying to say here, speaker, is that Indiana did not lose this trade like we just said because they're getting Zubac for next season when they're going to be presumably competing for a championship. Look, Zubac is not a stretch 5. That to me is the biggest reason why I like Zubac. But for the number 5 pick, which could turn out to be a generational like superstar type player, that look, maybe for next year, maybe you might be right. But 2 years from now, 5 years from now, hell no, man. Mark, any thoughts on that post?
Yeah, because at 5, you don't know who could drop. That could be, Darren Peterson could slip to 5. Caleb Wilson could slip there. That could be Boozer.
Ooh.
Like somebody could slip there. And if that happens and they turn out to be, stars, like that's the thing with like I said, that top 5, man, I think it's hard to miss.
Agreed. I think even top 10, 11. I still like the Warriors at 11. I think they're going to get a very talented player there, whether it's Yoxel, whether it's someone else, whether it's Kareem Lopez. Did see some. Look, let's try it and avoid the ignorance in the chat. I saw someone in the chat say, has there ever been a good Mexican basketball player? Regardless of whether or not there has been, it doesn't mean that just because that is their ethnicity that they're just never going to be good at it. Let's ease up on the prejudice, please. And on that note, is it true, like Mark, to the best of your knowledge, has there never been a good Mexican basketball player in the NBA? I can't think of one, and I don't think that reflects good for the nation of the great nation of Mexico. But that doesn't mean the first one isn't around the corner either. One last page chat or two. Two more. I apologize. The 3 Jesus is still coming. I'm not complaining. Thank you. The speaker, you're dropping $1.99 saying that they didn't own the pick till last summer. Oh, the Pacers. Oh, so the Pacers got that pick just last. Whose pick was that? Who'd they get it from? Oh, well, anyways, the speaker says congrats. I guess then maybe you're right on that because it's house money. And so you got Zubac for – and look, the Pacers will still get that pick. It's just now going to be in like 2030 or 2031. It got pushed back tremendously. So at some point in our lives, 4 or 5 years from now, when we're suddenly going, wait, the Pacers have the number 1 pick? How the hell did that happen? It was because of now. I hate Ewoks, another $4.99. Thank you, sir or miss. Even if every team star player was injured this year, with this team, we wouldn't win any 7-game series. Time to move on from the glory days. I hate Ewoks is dropping ducats right now because he wants it known that the Warriors are done. I think you might be right. I mean, look, again, Mark, I don't know if you agree with the sentiment or not, but last year we had approximately a third of the NBA tanking. A third. 10 teams just mailing it in night after night. The Warriors did not accomplish a thing being the 10 seed and making the play-in because every team below them was handing them games. It was ridiculous. So this season, I played this clip the other night from Brad Stevens, who said next year's NBA is going to be very different because you're not going to have all these tanking teams, and a lot of these teams that were tanking are going to be gunning for it. And so next year's NBA is going to look very different. It's probably going to be far more competitive, and it makes me skeptical that the Warriors will even get to 30 wins. Mark, question to you, sir. Who gets more wins next year, the Kings or the Warriors?
I think the Warriors for sure.
Based on what?
Based off of those superstar names that y'all got over there.
But again, Steph played 35, 40 games this last year. Like what? Why should anyone assume he's going to be available for more games this year? He's getting older. I mean, he might, but Draymond's 37. Jimmy Butler will not be available if they keep him. Who are these stars, Mark? I mean, I appreciate you giving some love to the Warriors, but I don't buy it.
It's just like when I'm looking at Sacramento all season, whatever. I was like, man, there's no way that no other teams had as bad as luck injury wise as the Kings, man. Like Keegan Murray came into the season hurt. think he missed a month at the beginning. I don't know if Keegan played 20 games.
He was hurt a lot last year. Yeah, he
was out majority of the year. Zach LaVine went down majority of the year. DeMar was the only guy. He's the Iron Man, but he's 36 years old, by himself. And the injuries just kept happening. And I feel like the Kings are older. Their players are older than the Warriors, even though in reality the Warriors are much older.
And what's even funnier is you said the Warriors have all those stars. You just named like 5 star-ish players who are on the Kings, and they're all younger than the Warriors. I really in hindsight, maybe bringing Kerr back could be a blessing in disguise, because it could set it up for like the next 2 years. The Warriors just getting lottery picks after lottery picks. Now knowing their luck in recent years, it'll end up being like a James Wiseman type draft. But and I hate Ewoks, brother. I mean, I love you. Email me. If you're gonna donate another $20 just to say you feel like we're both in the same plane of pain. Sorry to be have that rhyme, but yeah, like misery loves company. Yeah, we're commiserating together. Thank you, brother. And Mark, I know you're struggling, dude. You sucked it up to come here. Oh, wait, there's one more paid chat saying T4 won't fail. Who's T4? Got Hallie, Tyrese Halliburton. Who's TJ?
McConnell.
TJ McConnell, Andrew Nembhard. Don't guards. I think the speaker is a Pacers fan. I think that's safe to say. But the speaker, if you're hammered, don't waste any more money, please. Just and that goes for everyone. Don't drink and donate. I don't feel good taking your money if you're inebriated, but I appreciate it. The speaker, we get it. You're a huge Pacers fan. Congrats to you. Real quick, people were asking, like, why did you bring up Brandon Podziemski, someone who's in the headline of at least the Golden Days channel, and we haven't even talked about him yet. It's because of this tweet that came out, and the tweet correlates with Monty Poole of NBC Sports Bay Area, who wrote in a recent piece that NBA scouts do not view Brandon Podziemski as a franchise pillar or a centerpiece for a potential trade. No shit. But apparently it needed a story so that all the fans out there who it just never occurred to them that Brandon Podziemski is not very good. Now you have Monty Poole's reporting substantiating it. Yes, he has no value. The fact that the Warriors kept him instead of trading for Lauri Markkanen a few years ago, mark that down as a swing and a huge miss. Fail like that, it's insane, dude. And that's a Steve Kerr experience for you. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Mark. I don't blame you if you don't, because it's just craziness. But I do want to make Kings fans happier with this tidbit, and we're going to let you go with this. And I don't know if your family can hear you, Mark, and what's coming out of the speakers, but I have this open. I wish I had one for the Kings. I apologize. But this open leads to this date in Warriors history. This is what we'll finish up the show with.
Good evening, and welcome back to The Story. This is old-timey news anchor.
Adept news coverage never before seen in the Bay Area.
A little elevation sensation.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Mark, I'm going to start with your team, the Kings. You know what happened on this date?
Playoffs, I know that.
You're on the right track. You're absolutely on the right track. By the way, Allen Iverson, for his career, only shot 31.3% from deep. Valid point. Do you know how many minutes per game Allen Iverson averaged in his career? This can't be right. Hold on. This is ESPN. Is that right?
38. Wow. 40?
I can't believe this is true, but it is. I'm looking at this right here. Allen Iverson, for his career, averaged 41.1 minutes per game.
Wow.
Did not know that until this
moment. He
moment.
came off the bench with, Denver and Detroit.
But here's why that average. His rookie year, he averaged 40.1. Year 3, 41.5. Then 40.8. Then 42. His 6th year in the NBA, or 7th, he averaged 43.7 minutes per game. Then 42.5, 42.5, 42.3, 43.1, 42.7, 42.4. And that's all the way through 2007. And then he went to the Nuggets, averaged 41.8, 41, and then it started to dip down when he went to Detroit just a little bit. That's unbelievable.
Wow.
That is crazy. Well, what's also crazy is on this date, your Sacramento Kings played their first home playoff game ever on May 12th, 1999.
Oh, wow.
Vlade Divac posted a 22-point, 14-rebound double-double. Corliss Williamson scored 18 points. And rookie guard, white chocolate himself, Jason Williams, did a bit of everything during a thrilling 84-81 win over the Utah Jazz in front of an electric Arco Arena crowd.
Arco Arena, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Good times, man.
Yeah. On this, sorry.
The fans were able to show that they were the best fans in the NBA. That was good times, man. Good times.
And on this date in sorry, go ahead. Do you have something else?
No, you.
And on this date in Warriors history, going all the way back to 1987, the Sleepy Floyd game, that was in Game 4. It staved off a Lakers sweep. Well, on this date, the Lakers finished that series. Wait, no, this can't be right. Hold on. No, I take that back. Please forgive me. I don't take that back. That is true. It did happen. 118-106 was the final on this date in 1987. On this date as well in 2023. So 3 years ago today, the Lakers beat the reigning world champion Golden State Warriors 122-101 in the Western Conference semifinals. So on this date, 2 losses to the Lakers. And that's one of many critiques I have of the Steve Kerr era. They never beat the Lakers. And they beat LeBron. Well, they beat him 3 times.
Right.
The first one was the most impressive to me because when you have Kevin Durant on your team, it's just ridiculous. But
yeah, they were supposed to win.
Have you been watching? And I know you got to go. But the last thing I'll ask: did you watch the roast, the Kevin Hart roast?
I was actually going to do that tonight, but I probably won't. But by tomorrow, I'll watch it tomorrow for sure.
It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I literally had to pop Advils last night because my body just convulsed for 2+ hours of laughing. And one of the more impressive parts of aspects of the roast, Draymond Green held his own. I didn't realize Draymond, his wife, is cousins with either Kevin Hart or Kevin Hart's wife. So they have an in-law type relationship. And so I don't know if that's why he got invited, but his delivery was sound, man. And he got clowned like everybody there, but he held his own. Get ready for one of the funniest things. It's almost 3 hours long. And
wow.
Dude, it's amazing. Cat Williams came out. That was historic. Everybody set killed. Again, Draymond performed well, man. He didn't write the jokes, but he delivered them perfectly. And strong recommend. It's don't let your kids watch it unless you want them to.
That's why it's going to definitely be a nighttime thing. Yeah. Where as soon as they go to sleep. But yeah, I'm planning on watching it tomorrow.
This guy, I hate Ewoks. Just spent $30 on this show tonight, Mark. I'll split it with you, man. I'll bend you some of that. You earned it as well. Mark fighting through a cold flu, held the vid. Who the hell knows what you're dealing with? You've got 3 kids. Viruses are just flying in and out of your house 24/7. Your immune system is that of a rock star, sir. Anything we forgot to mention before you go? Love you, man. I'm stoked we brought this back.
Nah, man. Yeah, we're gonna get back on pace. Those Tuesday night games were it was so dreadful, and they were late. And now, we back. But yeah, I just want to say, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I know it's past or whatever, but it's never too late to throw that out there to all the women, to the lovely mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day.
How about this, Mark? How about let's make every day Mother's Day? I saw my mom in the chat earlier. Hi, Mom. Love you as well. You have a double entendre Mother's Day because you've got your wife and your own mother, right?
Yes. So I got two great women in this world, in my life, keeping me going. So yeah, I want to, shout out all the mothers who allow people like us to be podcasting and talking sports all the time, and while they take care of kids.
Yes, sir. We'll go run to your kids, brother. Thank you as always. Thanks to everybody. We're back. I don't know if I'll have a show tomorrow, but Sleepy Floyd Thursday. What's coming up on your side?
Just I'll be dropping another one of Bleav in King show, and we'll be talking about dig more into the draft. I seen, the combine is going on now, so a little more to talk about.
Any reaction from the combine? I was watching some of that myself. It was far more interesting than I thought it would be.
Caleb Wilson is the guy that I really, really like Caleb Wilson. I always have. And seeing the numbers that he put up, I think he had a 39-inch max vert, 35-inch Stetton vert, his shuttle and everything. He can move. I think he's going to this is going to be a really, really good draft. Darren Peterson, maybe the cramps are gone. I think Darren Peterson is a stud. And it's so many. I got to look through everybody. It's so many guys. I like the 7'3" kid.
Yes.
I'm in love. I'm in love with these rookies.
Congrats. I might have been wrong on yesterday's show. I said that Nate Ament would not drop, but then for whatever reason, I guess a lot of people have soured on him recently. I still think he's going to go top 10, but correct. My apologies. I was wrong yesterday because I didn't think there was a chance in hell he would drop. And then I read all these mock drafts today, and some of them have him at 15. I'm like, whoa. Right. So my apologies for that. I was wrong. I was flat out wrong. He might fall. I don't know, but it's exciting shit, man. Good stuff. Mark, love you. We'll see you next week.
Yes,
get better. Thank your wife for the time again. And thanks, brother. Are we out? Are we done?
I think we're out, man. Until next time.